Hello and welcome back to Film Focus, which is now episode 14, or whatever season 2 we're going in now.
It's the next episode.
Yes, with me, Fred Black.
Me, Anthony Squire.
And today we're looking at two really recent films and really good films. Thank God, we've actually got good films for once.
Yeah, for once.
Yeah.
Doesn't waste time on soppy emotions or dragging on.
Yeah.
It actually just gets straight
down to the point. We'll get started with the first film, Monsters University. Pixar's latest offering in their animation.
It was surprisingly good. A lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, this is actually the one thing, because you haven't seen, the Cars film. Well,
I saw the first Cars film.
Yeah, but I saw Pixar have now started doing, sequels to everything. Probably because of Disney. Great. But yeah, the Monsters University is their first prequel, which is a bit odd. But yes, this is the one thing, I saw Cars 2 the other week and...
Was it good?
Nah, it's a bit bland, really. Which, for a Pixar film, is really surprising. It's really surprising. Pixar don't usually do blandness, but this film...
Nobody's perfect.
Oh, I suppose not. But this film, actually was... quite entertaining, which...
It was good. It had a good story, moved at a good pace, the humour was good for adults and children, it didn't drag on. Yeah,
put it there in a nutshell. I mean,
keep it simple.
I think I expected this film to just be straight kind of university humour, frat boy stuff, because they have their fraternities and all that sort of stuff, and it's generic university.
It was a little predictable, with the geeky kids suddenly becoming...
not to give too much away in the plot, but it's the plot. Well, actually, we haven't actually mentioned the plot at all. The plot is a prequel, Mike and Sully, who we know and love from the first film. They are in university, way back when, trying to be scarers. So they're trying to qualify to be scarers, and they don't like each other, which is the main driving point behind this film.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the humour revolves around.
Yeah, it's the first time they meet, they kind of just they're really just not happy with each other. It's the pig scene, isn't it? They got because they've got rival universities or colleges, and they take their mascots and stuff like that. And there's all these sorts of scenes where
Mike really wants to be a scary monster.
Yeah,
but
obviously he's not that scary. And that was what really surprised me about this film, is that there are quite a few little subtle plot arcs going through it that you didn't really expect. There were 4 or 5 stories going on at once. There's Mike trying to be scary. There's the scare games. There's the fact that they're trying to become scarers in the first place, and there's Sully's various troubles and stuff like that. And there's all these kind of different story arcs, and it all
really mixes in well together. It, like I said, it doesn't drag on. And you had some good voices in there. You also had Steve Buscemi, the voice of Randy, Helen Mirren,
who was
the
really
voice
good,
of
actually.
Dean Hardscrabble.
Dean Hardscrabble was a good name as well. But yeah, Helen Mirren was apparently they didn't actually put any pictures of her character before the film was released. They didn't actually and she wasn't allowed to talk about, because you can see her actually being scary. That's a scary monster there.
Yeah.
If you put it in a...
She had the voice for it.
Yeah, and she had the voice for it as well. But I was actually quite... Again, this film is just still reeling around in my head. I only saw it yesterday, so I'm still getting to grips with it. But yeah, again, and you've got Alfred Molina down there. I can see on your notes. You've got Alfred Molina as the voice of one of the professors. You also missed out Nathan Fillion, who's Mal from Serenity.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's in it as well as the the Raw Omega Raw, the leader of that.
Wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Now you clicks it.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing. Pixar getting good voice actors, or just good actors in general, to do good parts. I say it's surprisingly.
It wasn't a rushed film. You can tell that she's spent some time thinking it's over.
Thank God for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it felt more Pixar than Disney as well. With all these sequels and stuff, you expect it just to be straight to bargain bin quality.
And it was predictable, but not as predictable as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, not as predictable as something like Cars 2 or most Disney films that come out nowadays. I mean,
moving on. Yeah, I gave this a 7 out of 10,
and I did as well. Yeah, so a bit of a lull in the silence there. Oh god, what's happening? Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. It was there's lots of
It was good.
There's lots of laughs to be had. I mean, I would probably, if we were to grade, because I gave Despicable Me 2 7 out of 10 last week as well, and if I was to say which one was the better family film, I'd say
Despicable Me 2.
Yeah, Despicable Me 2.
Yeah.
But then again, Pixar are a better known studio for that sort of family entertainment, so most people will probably just go and see this anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's a new Pixar film. It was just marred slightly by the fact that it was a bit too cutesy in places, and when you're
there was going to be that was going to happen. I mean,
but then I think that's just Disney taking over and not letting Pixar be as bold as they could be. Oh, and the short film at the start. Do you not remember
the two umbrellas?
The two umbrellas. Did you not think that was great?
I didn't actually.
I forgot Pixar did the short films at the start of every one of their films.
Basically, two umbrellas. They like each other, but they get separated
and eventually reunited. But it's
visually,
yes,
it was good. Visually, it was good.
Well, did you not think it was real life for a minute? I thought it was all real life shots, kind of just superimposed and with CGI images. But
it was good, but there was no need for it.
Well, you could say that about most short films that are around, or most films that are around there now. But
but there was no need for this at the beginning of the film. It had no.
They don't have any relevance. If you were going to say relevance, they don't have any relevance to the film. They never have done. Pixar have done this since Toy Story. They put short films out at the start of all their films. But I thought
it was good.
But you're just
I wasn't impressed.
Well, I was, okay. I thought it was actually quite touching, and it shows that Pixar can still do something quite genuinely heartfelt. I thought, without saying anything. And this is the thing. The thing they did with WALL-E, the thing they did with Up, the first 5 minutes of Up. You can tell a really powerful and emotional story, and really tug at the cinema goer's heartstrings without saying anything, and. There could have been a bit more of it probably in Monsters University, and it could have become a bit more of a powerful film. But I don't think they were going for that anyway. I
think Monsters University, it had it balanced out well. You had your drama, your emotion, your fun, and it's still entertaining, and it wasn't as predictable as it could have been.
Oh well, yes, it could have been so predictable. You could have been oh god, you fall asleep and wake up knowing exactly where you were in the film. Oh well, that's just happened, obviously.
That's so scary.
Don't fall asleep in a cinema, guys. It's not good. But yeah, I just wish Pixar would. I mean, they've started doing all these sequels now. I mean, they've done Cars 2. They've got Monsters University now, and they're doing a sequel to Finding Nemo, which comes out in about 2 years' time, I think. Finding Dory. They announced it a couple of months ago. Finding Dory, yeah. Honestly, I couldn't really care that much about Finding Dory. I mean, Finding Nemo's a great film, but I couldn't really care about the sequel because I want them to do original stuff. And we know they can.
Speaking of original stuff, can we move on to the trailers?
We will move on to the... Shush, I want to make this point. I like making this point. It's we know they can do original stuff, and it's... only because they've been taken over by Disney, I think that they've just started doing all these sequels. And
I didn't know Disney had taken them over. I knew Disney had taken over
Lucasfilm. No, they bought Pixar as well. So now Disney owns tons of stuff. Yeah, but WALL-E and Up and Brave. I mean, Brave was a good film. It came out a few years ago, and it's one of the only original things they've done for quite a few years. And they need to do more of it because we like that sort of stuff.
Can we move on to the trailers?
No more sequels. Yes, we can move on to the trailer. That was Monsters University. Done. Dusted. Right. Because we're starting off the trailers. Yes, our trailers are starting off...
But this is a brilliant name. Speaking of originality, Harold's going stiff.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's having a boner.
We're 5 years old again, aren't we? Harold's going...
It sounds like he's having a boner or something.
Nah. It's a British comedy, kind of dark comedy, zombie
dark
film.
Comedy. There's a disease that's turning people into kind of zombies.
Yeah, well, it's zombies, but they're all just kind of rigid. They don't have the kind of shuffling, loose zombie thing that we're used to. They kind of just they literally go stiff.
Because at one moment it looked like the lead the lead woman and the lead sort of zombie bloke guy were getting close, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, some sort of super thing. You remember Super?
Yeah.
That weird, kind of kick-ass type film. They ended up having some sort of relationship in it, and that's the same sort of creepy level in that. I'm like, yeah, that could go really bad. But
I'm kind of hoping it won't though, because the film does look good.
Yeah,
it's got originality. Well, this is only the trailer I'm basing this on.
Yeah, it's one of the very few films we've seen trailers we've seen this week as well that hasn't been based on a true story. Yeah. The amount of trailers, I mean, what did we have? We had about 15, 20
Mickey's
trailers.
Family, 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
And that's just the start of it.
We had 15, 20 trailers to go through this week, and I would say a good 50-60% of them were based on a true story or documentaries, so they're obviously like true. I mean, documentaries are fine. That's okay. I mean, they are true stories, so you can.
Yeah, they're good in their proportion.
But it's all those films that just go based on a true story, and just kind of hype it up. It's like
everything was going well until that night.
Yeah, as just the amount of stuff that they go with there.
Which moves us on to the next trailer,
which is based on a true story. Funnily enough,
no, we hadn't rehearsed that.
No, actually,
no.
Yeah. We kind of didn't rehearse it. Anyway, this one's called The Fifth Estate. It's about Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks guy, and his rise to power. Well, not rise to power, but his kind of, him getting in trouble with the governments and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Got Benedict Cumberbatch, who we've seen quite a lot in recent films. I mean, he's done the new Sherlock series. He was in the new Star Trek film. We won't talk about that now.
No, we won't talk about that now.
Maybe in a few episodes' time, when it's a quiet day at the cinema, we'll talk about.
But this trailer looked, it looked good. It looked like a dark film.
It hyped itself up rather
good
well.
Acting. It was building up to a moment. Well, obviously the moment that happened, because you've got to go to the cinema to see that. But
I don't want to. I want to see everything. Well, actually, no. I don't want to see everything in the trailer. You have those films where everything happens in the trailer, and you're just like, okay, I don't want to see the film now. I've seen it all happen there.
Never understood trailers like that.
No, and this isn't one of those trailers. Thankfully, it left a lot to be desired. Really, I mean, I want to see a lot more of it, which is good. So yeah, there's not really much more to say about that film. I mean, I'm not too clued up on the WikiLeaks thing, so I'm not sure how it'll.
Moving on to the next trailer.
Oh,
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, we're doing Amazing Spider-Man. Oh yes, there was a well, we haven't really had like a big trailer for it yet, have we?
This trailer is good by Electro.
Yeah, this is.
He hasn't been in any of the Spider-Man films yet.
No, and Jamie Foxx. Yeah, this was essentially because Comic Con is going on at the moment, or Comic Con, however you want to say it. And there's been tons and tons of talk on Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, got his own kind of specific teaser trailer this week.
Like he was just introducing himself.
Yeah, and he looks quite freaky, really.
It looks good, looks evil.
I mean, considering how they did the lizard in the first film, which was quite... Have you seen? You've seen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering how they did that guy, which was quite freaky.
At the end of the first one, you see him in prison, and you see that character standing next to him, who I thought was going to be the Goblin.
I don't think they would do the Goblin again, because I know they've got Oscorp and all that sort of stuff, but it seems too obvious to go over the same bad guys again and again. Like, when they reboot franchises, like, they reboot X-Men, they bring in a whole load of different superheroes.
They couldn't redo Dr. Octopus. They'd have to get Alfred Molina back.
I will give the original Spider-Man trilogy that. I mean, Dr. Octopus was a good bad guy.
Yeah.
He was
You knew he was evil as soon as he lit up a cigar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all it takes for you to be evil, a cigar. But yeah, it's a very, very short trailer, but there's...
It's good, it was good, short, straight to the point.
Well, you don't get to see much of Electro. Like, I'm not exactly sure of what kind of weapons he'll have.
Exactly.
It's all electricity, obviously by the name, but how is he going to do it like a Iron Man 2 thing with the whips and stuff like what was that guy?
I think it'd be better than Iron Man 2.
Can't even remember. I know it's Mickey Rourke that plays it, but what's the guy's name?
It was good, but
what's the guy's name? The bad guy's name in
I can't
Iron
remember.
Man 2. No, I can't remember either. Anyway, moving on. We'll go to Mandela next, shall we?
This was a really
Nelson
good
Mandela.
trailer.
Yeah. Long Walk to Freedom.
Sort of documentary. Well, not really documentary. Sort of real.
Yeah, it's based on the true story, like the very famous true story of Nelson Mandela, overthrowing apartheid. Really, It's got Idris Elba, who we've seen this week in the cinemas already, in the film we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
It's got Idris Elba as Nelson Mandela, and the thing that struck me about this trailer was it's so action-orientated. It was
a mixture of action-orientated, with some powerful lines said in the trailer. You know, I want to see this when it comes out. It was good. Of all the sort of documentary-style trailers we've seen this week,
and all the kind of emotionally charged ones as well. Like, you know, it did get a bit soppy and emotional towards the end, obviously, but of all the trailers we've seen this week that do that, this one was actually working. Best. It was working as well. Like I bought into it. So yeah, Mandela gets a thumb up already before you've even seen it.
Well, let's not hype it up too much.
Yeah. And the last trailer, which is a very odd one for us to pick, which was Las Vegas. I thought this was a very odd one.
You got
to pick.
Was it Michael Douglas, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Kline, Robert De Niro?
Yeah, it's like 4 kind of aging friends going to Las Vegas for.
Is one of them dying?
No, well, one of them's just got. He's got like Morgan Freeman has tons of illnesses and stuff, so he's just like he has like curfews. He has to take loads of pills all the time. But the idea is Michael Douglas is getting married to this woman like half his age, and they're having a bachelor party in Las Vegas, or bachelor party, like a stag do in Las Vegas. And yeah, these 4 old guys hit Las Vegas to have the time of their lives. But it was surprisingly funny.
It was. I mean, the whole thing when they get drunk and you hear them saying,
"Oh, the room is spinning," and they're on a spinning bed. There's a lot of like these older actors doing these weird comedies. There's one that's just come out with Al Pacino and Christopher Walken and Alan Arkin. I think it's Straight Men or something like that. It's done quite well at the cinema, but they're getting more into comedies now, which I think, these are all classic actors. I mean, they should be doing more comedy stuff because they're funny. Morgan Freeman's definitely funny.
Yeah, he's a really good actor.
Yeah, but this was good fun, and definitely like when we came to pick all the trailers, I was just like, well, it's either this or like Riddick. Riddick's coming out. Had to mention it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a good trailer. But putting that to one side, can we move on?
We can move on. Yes, we most definitely can move on. Now, you heard me talk about this film very briefly last week because I've already seen it. Pacific Rim! Pacific Rim, motherfuckers. I told you this film was awesome.
This film was spot on.
Oh,
I gave it 10 out of 10.
I gave it 9. I probably should have given it 10 out of 10. But
best film I've seen this year since G.I. Joe 2.
Oh, that's you coming from a love of like B movies and stuff. And at its heart, this film is a B movie. This film, if you have missed it, and if you've missed it, you've been living under a rock for the past like 6 months. It's about a dimensional portal that opens in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
These evil monsters come through.
Big, gigantic fucking evil monsters come out, and we build gigantic robots to kick the shit out of them.
And it takes 2 people to control the robots.
Yeah, it takes 2 people, so you've got all these kind of teams and, there's a romantic relationship that develops out of that. But if you go in expecting anything more than big robots fighting big aliens, you'll be disappointed, really. If you're looking for...
You won't be disappointed. Well, the corny lines...
If you go in expecting...
The good pace it moves at, the good directing, the good editing... Yeah, good special effects. But the cheesiness was beautiful.
I was saying, like, if you go in expecting, like, deep, heartfelt story... Because it is Del Toro. It's Guillermo del Toro who does Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, and all that sort of stuff. And he is a good storyteller. So I guess some people were kind of fooled into thinking, oh, it'll be, like, deep story, but then, big robots kicking the shit out of everything. But take it at face value, which is robots kick the shit out of aliens, and vice versa, and it is the most stupendously entertaining film you'll see this year, without a doubt.
I can't imagine any other films this year achieving the same level of cheesiness.
I know it's in 3D and everything.
No,
we saw it in 2D.
Stick to the 2D ones.
We saw it in 2D. It sit right at the front of the cinema to get the big screen experience, and just laugh your arse off because it is insane.
Good background music, good acting.
The fight scenes as well. The acting kind of gets paled in the back. I mean, we say we have Idris Elba in there. Can't remember the guy. Who's the main guy? Have you written his name down?
Ron Perlman.
No, not Ron Perlman. The guy who's actually piloting the thing.
Charlie Day?
No, you got him.
Idris Elba.
Charlie Hunnam. That's it.
Charlie.
Charlie Hunnam. Yeah, or he plays like Rowley Beckett. Or
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good in it. You got the Japanese. Who's the Japanese?
Rinko. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to write down the name.
I can't say it.
I have. But yeah, it's good acting from everyone. But you stay for the special effects and the fight scenes, especially like the fight scene in Hong Kong. That is what this film is all about.
Beautiful.
It happens about
the
halfway...
robot nearly goes up into space, and as he's falling back down, what are we going to do? Just push this button.
Yeah, just push this button. It's fine. But it happens about midway through the film. It actually takes up about 10-15 minutes of like the film. There's quite a lengthy fight scene.
20 minutes.
But like everything you need to know about that film happens in that 15 minutes, and it is just seriously one of the most jaw-dropping pieces of cinema I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you agree with you.
For once we actually agree on a film. We've agreed on quite a lot so far. Like, there might be some disagreements in the weeks to come, but this film, we could definitely say, you need to see this film right now.
Yeah.
Like, stop watching this show right now and go and see Pacific Rim.
This film was good. I can't fault it.
No, I can't fault it. I could only fault it for like a typically happy Hollywood ending.
What did you expect?
I expected Del Toro. Okay, maybe this is. I expected Del Toro to just be a little bit darker with the ending, I guess. But it's a typically happy Hollywood ending, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, it's mega happy.
It is mega happy, and I was just.
There's no way.
There's
no way they could have survived that.
It was that little sting, like it's like, that's just kind of ruined it a little bit. But then you think back to the rest of the film, and you're just like,
it's demanding.
So fun. Well, come on, you can't have the same happy ending all the time.
No, but
shake it up a little, people.
This kind of film, you couldn't really have any other ending. It was building up.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But even so, like, I seriously like we said, we can't fault this film.
We can't.
It's one of the very few films this year that got me so excited after I've left the cinema.
Best film since G.I. Joe 2. But G.I. Joe 2 is still good.
That's just your opinion of it. G.I. Joe 2.
Oh, come on, that scene where they use a sword to deflect bullets.
One bullet.
Thanks for watching this week.
Yeah, I think we're going to end it there. It's a short show this week, but we'll probably have much more to talk about next week. The World's End has just come out yesterday.
Yeah, and the Wolverine.
Which we're going to... So yeah, The World's End and the Wolverine will be up for you next week. So yeah, until then,
take care,
ciao. Guys. See you later, guys. Pacific Rim!
Yes, Pacific Rim!
Pacific.
See, we kept it nice and short so they could
now go out and see Pacific Rim.